In this video, I'm going to be talking about the ZwoBot Color Generator device. ZwoBot is a suite of Max for Live devices that allows you to create visuals inside Ableton. So this color generator is new to ZwoBot 3.0 and it generates a color or a gradient, as you can see here. So I've already connected it to my player and I've switched it on, and you can see we're getting this green and blue gradient. So here on the left hand side we've got some different presets, so you can change some of the colors there. And then you've got this invert button which will swap the direction, so instead of the green being on the right and the yellow being on the left, you can have the yellow on the right and the green on the left. Here we have got some directional options for the gradient. So it's currently set to linear Y. I can change it to linear X, and now it's on the X axis instead of the Y axis. You've got some diagonal options, and then you've got circle, which is a radial gradient, and then flat will just be a solid color. So if you don't want a gradient and you just want a color, you can use flat instead. Here we've got this gradient dial that changes the transition between the two colors. So if you want it to just be a solid transition with no gradual blurring between the two, then you can put it towards the center, so you can type in 0, or you can have a smoother transition between the two colors. And if you bring it to the left, it's going to invert it. Same as this invert button. So that's what the gradient dial does, and then we've got this density dial which controls how the two colors transition between. If you want it to be very smooth like this, you can turn it up, but you can also bring it right down, and then you get these individual colors instead of a smooth transition. If you don't want to use any of the presets, you can actually manually choose which color you want to use here. And when it's flat, it's choosing from the top one. So the bottom one won't do anything. When it's just a single color, you use this top one to change it. We've got a few audio reactive controls here on the gradient and density dials, and also on the direction control. So I can have these change in accordance with the incoming audio. I'm going to set the direction to change in accordance with the lower frequencies. So we can see now that's changing in response to the bass of the track. And the gradient, I'm going to keep that up, but I'll change the density in accordance with the higher frequencies. And those dials and this control also have beat controls. So if I want the density to change on beat instead of in response to the audio, I can click this button here, and now it's going to change in sync with my project BPM. And how quickly that changes will depend on your master beat control, which is this control over here on the ZwoBot player. So I can make it faster by turning that up. If you want to change the color, if you want that to be automatically changing, you can use an LFO. So let's drag an LFO in here. And I can map this to either this here, and that will map both of them, or if I just want to choose the presets, I can just map it to these presets. Down here we've got this texture button, so what that'll do is apply the effect as a texture. This is a video I've got underneath that I'm just playing in my ZwoBot player. you lose the whole color effect, but you can still see some of those squares, which is from when, if I turn this off, when we have the density down, you can see you're still getting that effect here. We also have our transparency and blend modes in the bottom left hand corner, so this controls the overall transparency of the effect, and then we've got a selection of blend modes that will blend the effect with the underlying image. So if you want to have a gradient on top of your visual, you can use one of these blend modes here